Welcome to the DesignaKnit 9 video learning series. In this tutorial, we'll be working in original pattern drafting section of the program. There's a new feature in original pattern drafting where you can construct slopes rapidly from hand knit patterns that you might find in a knitting magazine. This is a hand knit paragraph of instructions for a cardigan sleeve. If you look, each sentence has one set of instructions. You do this set of instructions, and then you go and you do the next set, and so on until you get to the top of the garment. I've taken this paragraph and kind of teased it apart sentence by sentence and put each sentence on a separate line. You can easily do this by just making cryptic notes to yourself. You don't need to put what row you're on. You just need to put increase 1 stitch at the beginning of every row 5 times. The biggest thing to notice is that we start with 63 stitches at row 1, and that's what we will use to determine the width of our garment piece. Once you have this little list, then you go into DesignaKnit. Because we are entering in this pattern in an exact stitch layout, it is imperative to enter it in the correct tension because that is going to form the shape by the size of the stitches and rows. If you put it in at an incorrect tension, the shape will not be the correct size. So this is critically important, and you'll need to read that in your hand knitting instructions. And for this particular pattern, it was 6.5 stitches and 9 rows per inch. We're back in original pattern drafting, options, tensions. We're in stitches per inch, and we said that our pattern was 6.5 and 9 rows per inch. We want to be sure that we're working units of measurement in stitches and rows because we're going to be entering in our information in stitches, increases, and decreases. Okay, piece, new piece. We know that the width to start is 63 stitches and we have 182 rows to get to the top. I do want the vertical mirror on because this is a symmetrical sleeve. Okay, let's name this sleeve, and this is the beginning of our sleeve. Let's take a measurement from here to here. 63 stitches, we're okay. Edit, construct a slope. This brings a new window up for DesignaKnit 9 that lets you rapidly put in a hand knit pattern. Instruction by instruction. If you notice, this piece has changed from blue to yellow. This means this is an exact stitch layout garment piece, and it was laid out in stitches and rows. These little bubbles show you the edge stitch for this particular garment piece. Our instructions say knit 5 rows and then increase 1 stitch every 5 rows 5 times. So we want to start with row count 5 and we want to increase 1 stitch every 5 rows 5 times. And we're just going to type in exactly what it says and apply this. Look. Now, if you notice here, this grayed out one means it's going this way. If I clicked here, it would go this way. So I want to have it going towards the grayed out side. See the difference? Our next set of instructions, we're at row 30 now, is increase 1 stitch every 6 rows 14 times. 1 stitch every 6 rows, 14. Apply. Look, this is great. Next it says knit 11 rows straight. So we're not going to increase any stitches. So let's put in 0 and then say 11 rows 1 time. And this has to be 0. Apply. And here's our 11 rows. Now we're going to start the armhole shaping. We're going to decrease. So let's change this. 8 stitches. We're going to knit 1 row and we're going to do it once. And here it's moving. Then we're going to decrease 1 stitch every row 3 times. Next, decrease 1 stitch every 2 rows 9 times. Next, decrease 1 stitch every 3 rows 9 times. Look how it's shaping. Next, 1 stitch every 2 rows 1 time. Next, every row 6 times. And look, I'm up to the top. Now, if I didn't exactly know that this was supposed to be the top, we can close this now. If I didn't know, what we would do is we would just guess. We could say 200 and we would just cut that part off and delete the points that were above it. If I turn my mirror off and turn it back on, it's reflected on both sides. One comment, when you reflect this, it now says 62 stitches and it has 2 stitches here for the mirror, and that means it's going to give you an even number of stitches, half on one side and half on the other. But we actually want an odd number of stitches, so I'm going to click here and it just has 1 stitch now, not 2, and I have an odd number of stitches. And in fact, our instructions say at this row, take off 31 stitches. And look, there it is. File, save as, and I'm going to call this a hand knit garment and replace it. And I have a piece that's ready to knit. Have fun. Thank you.